What's up, everybody? Blake Chancey here. 42% of home buyers in Canada were first-time home buyers, according to CMHC's 2025 Mortgage Consumer Survey. And let me just say it straight. First-time home buyers are not a nice to have. They're the reason that the real estate market actually works. Because if first-time home buyers disappear, the entire property ladder starts breaking down. Condos don't sell, townhomes don't move, detached homes sit longer, and eventually the whole market starts to seize up. But here's the thing. First-time buyers are getting older, like way older than people think. Across Canada, a commonly referenced benchmark is that the average first-time buyer is now around 36 years old. And in expensive markets, it can be significantly higher. And I don't know about you, but when you start talking about first-time buyers entering into their late 30s and 40s, that changes the entire math on life, retirement, and financial flexibility. So today's video is built around a tough question. Is it still worth it to buy your first home in British Columbia if you're getting into your 30s, 40s, maybe even your 50s, especially when a lot of people remember a world where first-time buyers were getting in during their 20s, like our parents and our grandparents have done over the last few generations. And the gap back then between a starter home and a family forever home wasn't the size of a small mortgage. Things were so different 30 years ago. Now, before I get into the advice, let's do a quick snapshot of the British Columbia real estate market because context matters. Right now in BC, the market is not one market. What I mean by this is it's multiple markets happening at the exact same time. Here's the quick snapshot. Detached homes. They've been the most expensive category for the longest time, of course. They're also the category that feels like the most sensitive to payments, because once you cross a certain price points, the monthly costs jump quickly. So detached homes is usually the first category where buyers tend to hesitate. And on the other side, sellers feel it the most when the demand slows. Then you've got townhomes. Townhomes are the middle ground. And a lot of BC communities, townhomes are the new family home, because a detached home is no longer realistic for a lot of first-time home buyers, even with two incomes. Townhomes are where a lot of people go, and condos are where a lot of people start. When people want some space, they look for townhomes. They want a yard. They want a garage, but they still need to make the numbers work. Then you've got condos. Condos are the true entry point for most first-time home buyers. That's where I started as a homeowner back in 2016. And when the condo market slows down, it's a problem, because condos are step one. And if step one breaks, step two doesn't really move. And step three, they get stuck behind. That's the detached homes. So here's the simple version. When first-time buyers are active, condos move, townhomes move, detached moves too. When first-time home buyers pull back, everything starts to clog up a little bit. And that's why first-time home buyers are so important to the entire market. So let's talk about the real goal for most first-time home buyers right now in 2026. A lot of people get obsessed with one idea. My home needs to skyrocket in value. And sure, appreciation is great. No one's complaining, obviously. But the underrated part of home ownership is stability. Because when you own your own property, you're not exposed to rent increases the same way. And long-term, the goal is very simple. Eventually, over time, you want predictable housing costs. Or in the best case, your mortgage gets paid off. Here's where it gets real. If you're a buyer, you're getting your first home at 2025, you take a 25 or a 30-year mortgage, you're mortgage free around 50 technically. That gives you options, of course. But if you buy your first place at 40 and do the same thing, now you're mortgage free closer to 65, 70, 75. Now, of course, that's not bad, but it's just such a different timeline than, what we thought of when we were kids growing up, if you were thinking about real estate. My family's been doing real estate. I'm a third-generation realtor, so obviously I've always wanted to become a homeowner at some point. So the decision isn't just, can I buy? Now people are thinking, what does this mean for the next 20 years of my life? Here's the good news. A few things have shifted that do help first-time buyers. So number one, affordability has improved relative to the peak. I'm not saying homes are cheap by any means. Everything's still so expensive. The cost of living just keeps going up. So first-time home buyers looking for their first condo, they're not cheap. But compared to the worst part of the rate shock and the crazy boom and no inventory, way too much demand, it's a much more balanced market than it was then. So number two, in a lot of segments, supply is higher. And when supply is higher, buyers get options and we're not going into multiple offers on a bunch of properties. It's such a better time to buy just for that. And when buyers have options, negotiation power also comes back. Sellers have to compete again. It's not buyers fighting each other like it's a Black Friday sale at Costco. But here's what hasn't changed in BC. Prices are still high. And that's the biggest challenge. It's not just the monthly payment. It's the price. And specifically, it's coming up with the down payment. And then closing costs too. There's a lot of costs associated with buying and selling real estate. So what's the cost of entry? Saving money while renting a property in BC is extremely difficult. I feel for a lot of people that have been renting for 10 to 20 years and they look at how much money they've spent on rent over that timeline. It's pretty fascinating and it quite frankly sucks. And then if you're renting too, you're stuck in a situation where that landlord could potentially sell the home and then you're getting like 3 to 4 months notice before you have to move out. So I really like homeownership because of the stability that's offered there. So again, I appreciate it. I know that saving money is not hard. It's like trying to train for a marathon while someone keeps turning the treadmill speed up every month. Now in real life, first-time buyers usually fall into 2 different groups. So group 1, the under 30 first-time buyers, usually dual income, usually motivated, usually high-paying jobs. Those people are usually realistic in expectations of what they're getting. They're not expecting the market to explode upward tomorrow. They just want to own something to have that stability in their life. It starts building stability within their day-to-day. They don't get kicked out. They're stable in their home and they can plan their life according to that. That's a huge benefit. Like you get to stop feeling like rent controls their entire life plan. And honestly, once they commit, they move pretty quickly. Group 2, the long-term renter. They've been paying rent for 10 plus years. They've watched prices run away for most of their adult life. So now they're super cautious. Sometimes they're bitter. I don't blame them. I get it because they've done everything right, you know? And it still feels like homeownership is moving further and further away no matter how much more money they're getting. The cost of living just keeps rising at the same time, so it's very difficult to save money up over time. But now that the market feels a little bit more balanced, you know, their interest levels start to peak a little bit again, but they're definitely still hesitant because they're thinking, what if I buy and the market dips again? So they're thinking, is this still worth it? And here's my honest answer to that. Yes. It absolutely is. It can still be worth buying a home, even if you're in that situation. But the mindset has to be different than it was 10 to 15 years ago. This is not a get rich quick plan. This is a build stability over time plan. So let me leave you with 4 simple rules. 4 rules I'd give to a first-time homebuyer in Canada right now. Rule number 1, don't buy expecting huge price growth immediately. If you buy, assume the market is pretty flat short term or potentially coming down a little bit as well. If it goes up, great, but do not rely on that. I don't think it's a realistic expectation to have right now. Rule number 2, understand your mortgage before you sign anything, not just the payments. Understand the interest, understand the renewal risk, understand what you can do with your principal pay down as well. Double up payments, biweekly payments, monthly payments. And please work with the mortgage broker. They are there to answer questions when it might be very difficult to reach somebody at the bank because the mortgage is technically the real product you're buying. Rule number 3, don't treat it like rent versus invest. People online absolutely love extremes. And what I always see is rent forever and invest, or buy and never invest again. Real life is usually a mix of both. Homeownership doesn't mean you need to stop investing. It just means your plan gets more balanced. Rule number 4, lifestyle matters more than perfect timing. Everyone wants to time the bottom perfectly, and that's a guaranteed way to never get into the market because you can't live inside a spreadsheet and the world is always unpredictable. The best time to buy a property, whether you're a first-time home buyer, you're upsizing or downsizing, is when you are ready. Not because you found the perfect chart on the internet, not because of your friends and family pressuring you. It's when it makes most sense for you, and you're going to know when that time is. So I'm going to leave you with one question. If you're a first-time home buyer in British Columbia, what are you waiting for right now? Is it the price? Is it the payment? Is it job security? Is it fear the market might drop again? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you because I actually want to hear what is holding people back right now. I know the situation from a lot of the first-time home buyers that I'm working with, but I'd love to get even more feedback. So if you found this helpful at all, it would mean a lot to me if you can hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Blake Chancey with Real Broker, realtor in the Greater Vancouver area. And if you're looking for properties anywhere around North America, I have a great network of realtors that can help you out. See you on the next one. Bye.